Hello and welcome to Bookish English. I am so happy you are here today because today we have something truly special. Today we are going to learn English through one of the most beautiful stories ever written. It is called The Happy Prince. It was written more than 100 years ago by a great writer named Oscar Wilde. And even today, all over the world, people read this story and cry. Not sad tears, the good kind of tears, because this story is about love and giving and a small, brave friend with wings. Now, the original story by Oscar Wilde is beautiful, but it is not easy. The words are big and the sentences are long. So for you today, I have made a special version. I have written the whole story again in simple, easy English, just for beginners. Every word is chosen carefully. Every sentence is short and clear. Nothing is lost. All the emotion is there. All the beauty is there. Only the difficulty is gone. This is your story in your English. And let me tell you a little bit about Oscar Wilde, so you know who he was. Oscar Wilde was born in Ireland more than 150 years ago. He wrote plays and poems and stories. He was famous for being funny and clever and kind. But he also had a difficult life. He knew what it was like to be loved, and he knew what it was like to lose everything. That is why his stories are so full of feeling. He understood both the sunshine and the shadow of life. He wrote The Happy Prince for his own two little sons before they went to bed at night. So this story is, in a way, a bedtime story from a father to his children. That is why it is so tender. That is why it is so warm. The story is long, so I have divided it into 5 parts. After each part, we will stop. We will answer questions together. We will learn easy grammar from the story, and we will learn the most important new words. So this video is not only a story, it is a complete English course, all built around one wonderful tale. Here is my advice for today, and please take it seriously. First, do not worry about every word. Just follow the story. If you understand the feeling, you are learning. Second, read the words on the screen while you listen. Your eyes and your ears learn together. Third, speak with me. When I say a sentence and ask you to repeat, please open your mouth and say the words out loud. Nobody is listening. This is your practice. And fourth, this is a long video, so take your time. If you need to stop and come back tomorrow, wonderful. The story will wait for you. In fact, listening to the same story twice on 2 different days is one of the best things you can do for your English. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Sit comfortably. Get something warm to drink if you like. A cup of tea is perfect for a beautiful old story. And let us begin. This is The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde in Easy English. Part 1. The Statue on the Column. In a big city there was a tall, tall column, and on top of the column there was a beautiful statue. The statue was a prince. His name was the Happy Prince. Now, the Happy Prince was not a normal statue. Oh no. He was covered all over in thin sheets of pure gold. His eyes were 2 bright, deep sapphires. Sapphires are beautiful blue stones, and on his sword, right at the top, there was a big red ruby. A ruby is a beautiful red stone. When the sun came out in the morning, the Happy Prince shone. He was so beautiful that everyone in the city looked up at him and smiled. The people of the city loved their statue. Mothers pointed at him and told their little children, "Look how beautiful he is. He is like an angel." Sad people looked up at him, and their hearts felt a little lighter, and the important men of the city said proudly, "He is beautiful, and he is very useful, too." There was one man in the city, a school teacher, who did not agree so easily. He was tired and his shoes were old. When he saw the shining prince, he only said, "I am glad there is somebody in the world who is really happy." Then he walked away, and he did not smile. His head was down, and he was thinking about his own hard life. One night, a poor mother sat by the window with her little boy. The little boy was crying because he was hungry and he was tired. His mother did not know what to say, so she pointed at the tall column and said softly, "Look, look at the happy prince. He never cries. Why do you cry?" And the little boy stopped crying and he looked up at the beautiful shining statue, and he was quiet. So the happy prince stood high above the city day and night, month after month. He was made of gold. He was made of jewels, and he was called Happy. But nobody in the city knew the truth. Nobody knew what the happy prince could see from high, high up on his tall column. Now, one autumn night, a little bird came flying to the city. He was a small swallow. Do you know a swallow? A swallow is a small bird with a blue back and a white body, and he can fly very, very fast. This little swallow was a friend, and he loved to travel. All summer the little swallow lived by the river. He was in love with a beautiful yellow flower. Ah, you can smile. Yes, a bird can love a flower. In a story like this, everything is possible. He met her one morning when he was flying low over the water, and he was chasing a big yellow butterfly. He stopped, and he looked at the flower, and he said, "May I love you?" And the flower did not say no, so he stayed by her side. All summer he flew around her, and he sang to her. The other swallows laughed at him. "It is silly," they said. "She is not a bird. She has no wings. She cannot travel with us. She will always stay in one place. She is not a good friend for a swallow." But he did not listen. He loved her and he flew around her all day. But summer ended. The days became shorter. The nights became colder. The other swallows, all his friends and family, flew away to Egypt. Egypt is a warm country, far, far from the cold north. In autumn, all swallows fly to Egypt to be warm in the winter. But the little swallow did not want to leave his flower, so he stayed by the river. He waited, and he waited. But finally autumn became cold, and the little flower did not love him back the way he wanted. Every time the wind blew, the flower turned to the wind and not to him. Every time the sun came, the flower turned to the sun and not to him. The little swallow was sad. "She does not love me the way I love her," he thought at last. "I am a swallow. She is a flower. She belongs to the river. I belong to the sky. I must go." So he said goodbye to his flower, and he began his long, long journey to Egypt, alone. All his friends were already there. He was very late. The little swallow flew all day. When the sun began to go down, he came to a big city. It was almost night. "I must find a place to sleep," he thought. He looked around. He looked at the tall buildings. He looked at the streets and the trees. And then, at last, he saw a tall column with a beautiful gold statue on top. "That is a wonderful place to sleep," said the little swallow. "It is high, it is safe, and I can see the moon and the stars." So the little swallow flew up, 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 and he landed right between the 2 feet of the happy prince. "I have a golden bedroom," he said with a happy little laugh. He looked around. He was very high. The city was small below him. He was ready to sleep. But just as he was closing his tired little eyes, something strange happened. A big drop of water fell on him. The little swallow looked up in surprise. The sky was clear. There were no clouds. There were only bright, shining stars. "This is very strange," he said. "There is no rain, but a big drop of water fell on me." He decided to move. He was going to fly to another place. But before he could fly, another drop of water fell on him. "This statue is broken," thought the swallow. "It is not good. I must find a dry place to sleep." He opened his wings to fly away. But then a third drop fell on him, and this time the little swallow stopped, and he looked up. He looked up at the face of the happy prince, and oh, my friends, he saw something wonderful and something terrible all at once. The eyes of the happy prince were full of tears, and tears were falling down his golden face, one by one. The little swallow was surprised. He was surprised, and he was full of pity. Pity is the feeling of soft, kind sadness for another person. "Who are you?" asked the little swallow. "I am the happy prince," said the statue. "But why are you crying then?" asked the swallow. "Look at you. You are all made of gold. You have beautiful blue eyes. You have a shining ruby. Why are you crying? You are the happy prince." The happy prince spoke, and his voice was soft and sad. "When I was alive," he said, "when I had a real human heart, I did not know what tears were. I lived in a great palace. It was called the Palace of No Sadness. In my palace, sadness was not allowed to come inside. In the day, I played in the beautiful garden with my friends. In the evening, I danced in the great hall. My tables were full of food, fresh fruit from every part of the world, sweet cakes, bright cold drinks. Every guest wore fine clothes. Every guest was smiling. Music never stopped. And there was a very high wall all around the garden, and I never asked what was on the other side. Never. I never asked, because I never thought about it. Everything around me was so beautiful. My people called me the Happy Prince, and I was happy if pleasure is the same thing as happiness. Now I am not so sure. I think pleasure and happiness are not the same. But I did not know it then, so I lived, and so I died. Young, my friends said. Too young. The little swallow listened, and he did not fly away. "And now?" the swallow asked softly. "And now?" said the prince. "Now I am dead. But they have put me here, so high, on this column, and I can see everything. I can see all the sadness of my city. Everything I could not see before, I see now. My heart is not a real heart anymore. It is made of lead. Lead is a heavy gray metal, but even a lead heart, when it sees so much sadness, has to cry." The little swallow was quiet. He looked at the gold face, and he saw the shining tears, and his heart felt heavy too. "Oh," said the happy prince, in a low, soft voice, "look, look far away in the small, dark street. There is a poor house. One of the windows is open. Inside there is a woman sitting at a table. Her face is thin, her hands are red and rough, because she works with her hands all day. She is a poor sewing woman. She sews clothes for rich ladies. Right now she is sewing beautiful flowers on a silk dress for the queen. But the queen does not know. The queen does not care." The little swallow listened. "And in the corner of the room," said the prince, "there is a little bed. In the little bed her small son is lying. He is sick, he has a fever, and he is very hot. He is asking for oranges. Oranges are sweet, and they would cool him, but his mother has no oranges. She has no money for oranges. She has only water from the river. So the little boy is crying, and the mother is crying too, quietly so her son does not hear. The happy prince was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke again. Little swallow, little bird, he said, will you not stay with me for one night? Will you not be my messenger? The boy is so thirsty and the mother is so sad. They are waiting for me in Egypt, said the swallow softly. My friends are flying up and down the great river. They are talking to the lotus flowers. Soon they will go and sleep in the great tomb of the king. It is warm in Egypt. I want to be with my friends. Little swallow, little bird, said the prince again, will you not stay with me for just one night and be my messenger? The boy is so thirsty and his mother is so sad. I do not really like children, said the swallow. Last summer, when I was staying by the river, 2 rude boys threw stones at me. They did not hit me. Swallows fly too fast. But it was not nice. It was not respectful. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow felt sorry for him. It is very cold here, the swallow said, but I will stay with you for one night. I will be your messenger. Thank you, little swallow, said the happy prince. What do you want me to do? Asked the swallow. Take out the big ruby from my sword, said the prince. Take it in your beak and fly. Fly to the poorhouse. Give the ruby to the poor mother. She can sell it. She can buy oranges for her sick little boy. She can buy food. She can buy medicine. Please, little swallow, please help her. But your ruby is your ruby, said the swallow. It is beautiful. It is the top of your sword. It is a part of you. I want you to take it, said the happy prince. I do not need a beautiful ruby anymore. My eyes see too much sadness. I need to help. The little swallow understood, so he flew up to the sword of the happy prince. Carefully, gently, he took out the big red ruby. He held it in his small beak, and it was heavy and shining. Fly, little swallow, said the prince. Fly to the poorhouse. And the little swallow flew. That is the end of part 1. Take a small breath, my friend. What a beautiful beginning, no? Now we practice, we learn, and we make sure your English understood every word. Let us start with some easy questions. I will ask, and you answer out loud. Then I will tell you the correct answer. Question 1. Where was the happy prince? Was he inside a house? No. The happy prince was a statue. He was on top of a tall column, high above the city. Question 2. What was the happy prince made of? Say it. He was covered with gold, and he had 2 sapphires for eyes, and a big ruby on his sword. Question 3. Who came flying to the city one autumn night? A little bird came, a little swallow. His friends were already in Egypt, but he was late. Question 4. Why was the swallow late? Because he was in love with a beautiful yellow flower. He did not want to leave her. Question 5. Where did the swallow decide to sleep? He flew to the top of the tall column. He landed between the 2 feet of the happy prince. Question 6. What fell on the swallow while he was trying to sleep? Drops of water, but the sky was clear. There were no clouds. Question 7. What were the drops of water really? They were tears. The happy prince was crying. Question 8. Why was the happy prince crying if he was called happy? Because when he was alive, he lived in a palace with a high wall. He never saw the sadness of his city. But now, as a statue, he can see everything, and it makes his lead heart cry. Question 9. What did the happy prince see in the poor house? He saw a poor sewing woman and her sick little boy. The boy was hot with fever. He was asking for oranges, but the mother had no money. Question 10. What did the happy prince ask the swallow to do? He asked the swallow to take the ruby from his sword and give it to the poor mother. Excellent! You understood the story very well. Now let us learn a few important words from part 1. The first word is column. A column is a tall, thin building, like a very high pole made of stone. The happy prince stood on a tall column. Say it, column. The next word is statue. A statue is a stone or metal figure that looks like a person or an animal. The happy prince was a beautiful statue. Say it, statue. The next word is gold. Gold is a shining yellow metal. It is very expensive. The happy prince was covered with gold. Say it, gold. The next word is ruby. A ruby is a beautiful red stone, very expensive. There was a big red ruby on the prince's sword. Say it, ruby. The next word is sapphire. A sapphire is a beautiful blue stone. His eyes were 2 sapphires. Say it, sapphire. The next word is swallow. A swallow is a small, fast bird with a blue back and a white body. The little swallow was our brave friend. Say it, swallow. The next word is tears. Tears are the water that comes from your eyes when you cry. The prince had tears on his face. Say it, tears. The next word is poor. Poor means having very little money. The sewing woman was poor. Say it, poor. The next word is sick. Sick means not healthy, not well, ill. The little boy was sick. He had a fever. Say it, sick. And the last word is messenger. A messenger is a person who carries something or brings a message from one place to another. The prince asked the swallow to be his messenger. Say it, messenger. Very good. 10 important words. Say them one more time with me. Column, statue, gold, ruby, sapphire, swallow, tears, poor, sick, messenger. These are your words now. Now part 2. Take a deep breath. The story continues. Part 2. The first ruby. The little swallow flew away from the happy prince with the big red ruby in his beak. The night was cold. His small wings were tired, but he flew and he flew over the great city. He passed by the tall church. The moon was bright, and the church looked white, as if it were made of snow. He passed by the palace of the king. He heard music inside. There was a party. Many candles were shining in the windows. A beautiful young girl was standing on a small balcony with her lover. The young man was telling her, "The stars are so beautiful tonight, and love is so strong. Look at them." The girl smiled and said, "Yes, but my dress is not ready for the great party next week. The lazy sewing women are so slow. I told them I want flowers on my dress. Flowers, everywhere, but they are always late." The little swallow heard, and his little heart was surprised. But he did not stop. He had a job to do. He passed over the river. He saw the lights of the ships. Some ships were leaving the city. Some ships were arriving. The men on the ships were pulling the ropes and singing to keep themselves warm. He passed over the busy streets. He saw rich men in their fine coats, laughing and going home from the theater. He saw children playing with each other, laughing. And he saw the beggars, the very poor people, sitting at the doors of the great houses in the cold. Their hands were open. Nobody was giving them anything. Everywhere he flew, he saw both the rich and the poor. The rich and the poor lived very close, in the same city, but they did not look at each other. It was very strange, and the little swallow began to understand something new about the world. At last, the little swallow came to the poorhouse. He looked through the open window, and he saw everything exactly the way the Happy Prince said it. He saw the little boy in his bed. His face was hot and red. He was moving his head from side to side, and he was crying softly. "I am so hot. I am so thirsty. Mama, please, an orange." His voice was small and weak. The room was cold, but his face was burning. He saw the mother at the table. She was sewing beautiful flowers on a silk dress. Her needle went up and down, up and down. Her tired eyes were closing. Her tired hands were shaking. Sometimes she stopped, and she put her head down for one moment, and then she started again. She had to finish the dress. If she did not finish the dress, she would not get her money. If she did not get her money, there would be no bread tomorrow. She could not stop. She could not rest. So she kept sewing, even when her fingers hurt, even when her eyes burned. This was her life. The little swallow felt his small heart become full of feeling, full of pity, and full of respect. He had never seen a person work so hard for so little. He had flown all summer, free in the sky. He had loved a flower. He had done what he wanted. But this woman had no free. She only had work and love for her little boy. The little swallow flew quietly into the room. The mother did not hear him. He landed on the pillow right next to the sick boy's head. He put the big red ruby softly next to the mother on the sewing table. The ruby shone in the small light of her candle. It looked like a drop of fire. Then he stayed for one moment, looking at the little boy. He flew gently close to the boy's face, and he moved his wings a little. His small wings sent cool air to the boy's hot forehead. The little boy smiled in his sleep. "How wonderful," he said quietly. "I feel cool. I feel a soft wind. I think I am going to be well. Thank you." He did not know who to thank, but he thanked the wind, and he slept deeply, and he did not cry any more. And then the swallow flew back to the Happy Prince. He told him everything. He told him how the mother did not see the ruby at first, because her eyes were so tired. He told him how she looked and looked again, and then finally saw the shining red stone on her table. He told him how she cried and how she thanked God. The swallow finished his story. Then he said, "It is strange. It is very cold outside, but I feel warm." "That is because you did something good," said the Happy Prince. "You helped a sick boy. When you help another person, your heart becomes warm. That is one of the great secrets of the world." The little swallow thought about this for a long time. Then he fell asleep. When he was thinking, he always fell asleep. He was a little bird, and he was very tired. Now let us stop, and let us practice. Some quick questions. Answer out loud, then listen to my answer. Question 1. What did the little swallow have in his beak? He had the big red ruby. He was carrying it to the poor mother. Question 2. What did he see in the palace of the king? A beautiful young girl and her lover on a balcony. But the girl was not kind. She was not thinking about the sewing woman. She only thought about her dress. Question 3. When the swallow arrived at the poorhouse, what did the little boy say? He said, "I am so hot. I am so thirsty." Question 4. Where did the swallow put the ruby? He put it on the sewing table next to the tired mother. Question 5. What did the swallow do to help the sick boy? He moved his wings, and he sent cool air to the boy's hot forehead. The boy smiled in his sleep. Question 6. When the swallow came back, he said he felt warm, even though the night was cold. Why? Because he did something good. When we help another person, our heart becomes warm. This is what the Happy Prince taught him. Wonderful. Now let us learn some easy grammar from part 2. Do not be afraid of the word grammar. This is easy grammar, and it is very useful. In this story, we hear the words he flew many times. This is the past. In English, when we talk about actions in the past, the verbs change. Let us look at some verbs from part 2. Fly becomes flew. He flew over the city. She flew to the tree. See becomes saw. He saw the sick boy. She saw the mother. Take becomes took. He took the ruby. She took the child in her arms. Give becomes gave. He gave the ruby to the mother. She gave a smile to her son. Come becomes came. He came to the poorhouse. She came home late. Fall becomes fell. The tear fell on the swallow. She fell asleep quickly. Do you hear the sound? Flew, saw, took, gave, came, fell. These are called irregular verbs. They do not follow the normal rule. But you do not need to memorize a big list right now. When you hear them in a story, again and again, your brain remembers them. That is why stories are the best way to learn English grammar. Let us practice. I will say a present sentence. You say the past. Ready? He flies to the city. Past? He flew to the city. Very good. She sees the poor boy. Past? She saw the poor boy. Excellent. He takes the ruby. Past? He took the ruby. He gives the flower. Past? He gave the flower. He comes home. Past? He came home. She falls asleep. Past? She fell asleep. Perfect. Your English brain is learning fast. Now let us learn a few more words from part 2. The first word is beak. A beak is the hard mouth of a bird. The swallow carried the ruby in his beak. Say it, beak. The next word is wing. A wing is the part of the bird that helps it fly. The swallow moved his wings to send cool air. Say it, wing. The next word is thirsty. Thirsty means you want water. Your mouth is dry. The sick boy was thirsty. Say it, thirsty. The next word is forehead. Your forehead is the top part of your face above your eyes. The swallow sent cool air to the boy's forehead. Say it, forehead. The next word is pillow. A pillow is the soft thing under your head when you sleep. The swallow landed on the pillow. Say it, pillow. The next word is sew. To sew means to join cloth together with a needle and thread. The poor woman was sewing a dress. Say it, sew. And the next word is silk. Silk is a soft, expensive cloth. The queen wore a silk dress. Say it, silk. Say these words all together one more time. Beak, wing, thirsty, forehead, pillow, sew, silk. Now they are part of your English. Before we move to part 3, let us do a small speaking exercise, a retelling. Retelling means you say the story back in your own simple words. This is one of the most powerful things you can do for your English. I will help you. I will start each sentence, and you finish it out loud. Do not worry about being perfect, just speak. The Happy Prince was on top of a tall column. Say the full sentence. The Happy Prince was on top of a tall column. He was covered with gold. Say it. He was covered with gold. He was crying because he could see the sadness of his city. Say it. He was crying because he could see the sadness of his city. The little swallow decided to help. He took the ruby from the sword. Say it. He took the ruby from the sword. He flew to the poorhouse. Say it. He flew to the poorhouse. He gave the ruby to the tired mother. Say it. He gave the ruby to the tired mother. Then he moved his wings to cool the sick boy. Say it. Then he moved his wings to cool the sick boy. Now, take a deep breath. Try to say the whole small story in your own words. Take 10 seconds. Say 4 or 5 sentences. Ready? Go. Did you try? Even a little? Then you did something wonderful. You told a story in English, from your own mouth. That is real English. Now let us continue. Part 3. The Sapphires. The next morning, the sun came up. The little swallow woke up. He looked at the shining city. Well, he said, the night is over. Winter is coming. It is time for me to fly to Egypt. My friends are waiting. He flew down to the river. He looked at the water. He thought about the warm, warm sun of Egypt. He thought about his friends, flying up and down the great river. He thought about the beautiful lotus flowers, and the great tombs, and the tall stone kings. I will just say goodbye to the prince, he said to himself. One goodbye, then I will go. So he flew back to the top of the column. I am here to say goodbye, said the swallow. I am going to Egypt now. Little swallow, little bird, said the happy prince. Will you not stay with me one more night? They are waiting for me in Egypt, said the swallow. Tomorrow I will fly over the great pyramids. My friends will fly around me. It is warm and beautiful there. The sun is yellow like gold. The great river runs like a green ribbon, and on the stones of the old kings there are pictures of birds like me, pictures that were made thousands of years ago. The old kings loved swallows. In Egypt, we are like family. Little swallow, little bird, said the prince, and his voice was full of pain. Please look far away. In the other part of the city, up in the top of a tall building, I can see a young man in a small, cold room. He is sitting at a wooden table. There are many, many papers around him. The swallow listened. He is a poet, said the prince. A poet is a person who writes beautiful poems. This young poet is writing a play. He is writing a beautiful play, and he wants to finish it. His work is very good, but he is cold. He has no fire in the room. He has not eaten anything today. There is a glass of water on the table, but no food. He has no more money. He is tired, and he is fainting. Fainting is when a person is so weak, so tired, so hungry, that his body cannot stand anymore. He cannot write. The little swallow felt sorry for the young poet. He knew what it was like to be tired. He knew what it was like to be cold. I will stay with you one more night, said the swallow. Shall I take another ruby? I have no more ruby, said the prince. My eyes are all I have now. My eyes are the 2 sapphires, the blue jewels, that were brought to me long ago from a country in the east. Please, little swallow, take out one of my eyes. Take it and give it to the young poet. He will sell it. He will buy food. He will buy wood for his fire. And he will finish his beautiful play. The little swallow was shocked. His small heart was very sad. Dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that. I cannot take out your eye. And the swallow began to cry. Little swallow, little bird, said the prince. Do as I ask you. So the swallow was silent. Then, slowly, gently, sadly, he took out one of the happy prince's eyes, and he flew away with it to the room of the young poet. The little swallow flew through the window of the small room. The young poet was sitting at his table. His head was down on his hands. There were many papers around him, some full of writing, some empty. There was an old, cold cup near his elbow. There was no fire in the small stove. The room was so cold that the little swallow could see his own breath. The poet was so tired that he did not hear the swallow. Softly, quietly, the little swallow put the great blue sapphire on the poet's papers, right next to a small dry flower. Perhaps the flower was a gift from someone he loved. Perhaps the flower was from long ago. The swallow did not know. He only saw that a poet who kept a small dry flower on his desk in a cold and empty room had a soft heart. Then the poet looked up. He rubbed his tired eyes. He looked again, and there, in front of him, was a big, beautiful, shining blue jewel. His breath stopped. "I do not believe it," he said. "How did this happen? I must have a friend. I have a friend I do not know. Somebody, somewhere is thinking of me. Now I can finish my play. Now my play will live. Now I will not be forgotten." And he began to smile, and he was so happy that his tired eyes were bright again. He touched the jewel, again and again to make sure it was real, and then he laughed, a small, quiet laugh, a laugh that was almost a cry, because he was so tired and so happy. The little swallow flew back to the happy prince. He told him everything. The prince listened. The prince was quiet. He had only one eye now. "Little swallow," said the prince at last, "will you stay one more night?" "Winter is here," said the swallow. "The snow is going to come soon. In Egypt, the sun is warm on the green palm trees. My friends are all there. My dear prince, I must leave you, but I will never forget you. And next spring, I will bring you 2 beautiful jewels to replace the ones you gave away. I will bring you a red ruby, redder than a red rose. I will bring you a blue sapphire, blue as the great sea. In the square below," said the happy prince, "there is a little girl. She is very small. She is thin. She is wearing only a thin dress. She is selling matches. Matches are small sticks of wood that we use to make fire. She sold nothing today, and her matches fell in the mud, and now they are all broken. She was so cold that her hands were shaking, and she dropped the box. Her father is a hard man. When she goes home, if she has no money, he will hit her. He has hit her before. She has no shoes. Her feet are bare in the snow. Her feet are red and blue with cold, and she is standing in the square, crying quietly, because she does not know what to do. Please, little swallow, take out my other eye. Give it to her. Then her father will not hit her. Then she can buy shoes. Then maybe she can eat something warm. I will stay with you one more night, said the little swallow, but I cannot take out your other eye. Then you will be blind. Little swallow, little bird, said the prince, do as I ask you. So the little swallow took out the other eye of the happy prince, and he flew down, down into the square. The little match girl was there, in her thin dress with no shoes. The swallow flew close, and quietly he dropped the great blue sapphire into her hand. Oh, what a beautiful piece of glass, said the little girl. She did not know it was a jewel. She thought it was only a beautiful piece of glass. And she laughed with joy, real happy laughter, and she ran home holding it tight in her hand. The swallow flew back to the prince. You cannot see now, he said, so I will stay with you always. I will not go to Egypt. No, little swallow, said the poor blind prince. You must go to Egypt. It is your home in winter. I will stay with you always, said the little swallow, and he slept at the feet of the prince. Take another small breath. That was a big part. Let us do a listen and repeat exercise. I will say a sentence from the story slowly. You say it after me, out loud. This is real speaking practice, and it is very good for your English. The happy prince had a lead heart. Now you. The happy prince had a lead heart. The little swallow was our friend. Your turn. The little swallow was our friend. He took the ruby in his beak. Say it. He took the ruby in his beak. The mother was tired, but she was sewing. Your turn. The mother was tired, but she was sewing. The boy was hot and thirsty. Say it. The boy was hot and thirsty. The young poet was cold and hungry. Your turn. The young poet was cold and hungry. The little swallow said, I will stay with you one more night. Say it. I will stay with you one more night. Now the beautiful line. Say it with feeling. Little swallow, little bird, your turn. Little swallow, little bird. Wonderful. Do you feel your mouth learning English? That is real progress. Let us also do a few new words from part 3 before we continue. The first word is poet. A poet is a person who writes poems and beautiful writing. The young man in the cold room was a poet. Say it, poet. The next word is play. Here, play does not mean children playing. It means a story written for the theater, for actors to act. Shakespeare wrote plays. The poet was writing a play. Say it, play. The next word is fainting. Fainting means becoming so weak that you fall down and cannot stand anymore. The young poet was fainting because he had no food. Say it, fainting. The next word is match. A match is a small stick of wood that we use to make a small fire. The little girl was selling matches. Say it, match. The next word is bare. Bare means without clothes or without shoes. Her feet were bare in the snow. Say it, bare. The next word is jewel. A jewel is a very precious stone, a diamond, a ruby, a sapphire. All jewels are jewels. Say it, jewel. And the next word is blind. Blind means not able to see. After giving both eyes, the happy prince was blind. Say it, blind. Say them once more together. Poet, play, fainting, match, bare, jewel, blind. Beautiful. These are your English words now. Part 4. The Cold Gold. The next day, the little swallow sat on the shoulder of the happy prince. He told him stories. He told him stories of the wonderful things he saw in strange countries far away. He told the prince of the great red birds that stand in a long line by the river. Their beaks are like ships. They stand there, catching goldfish. When the sun goes down, the sky becomes pink, and the great red birds look like flowers in the water. He told the prince of the great desert of the south, where the sand is like an ocean, and the men ride on the backs of tall animals with long necks called camels. The men wear white cloth on their heads to keep the sun off. They sing very old songs, songs that came from their fathers and their fathers' fathers. And at night the desert becomes cold, and the sky is full of 1,000,000 stars, more stars than a man can count. He told the prince of the great mountain, all made of pink stone, where an old god slept. He is asleep, but one day he will wake up. The people who live near the mountain do not go up. They are afraid, but they are also full of respect. They bring gifts to the foot of the mountain, bread, honey, flowers, and they leave them there, and they walk away quietly. He told the prince of the little snakes with green skin, who eat honey cakes from the hands of the children. In one warm country, the children love the little snakes. The snakes are not dangerous. The children give them names and they carry them around like small green friends. And when a child is sad, the little snake stays with the child, and the child feels better. The happy prince listened, and he smiled. His face was quiet. "Dear little swallow," said the prince, "you tell me many wonderful stories. But do you know something? The strangest stories of all are the stories of the men and women in this city. There is no greater mystery than the mystery of the human heart and its sadness. Fly away, little swallow, fly over my city. Look and tell me everything you see. So the little swallow flew away over the great city. He saw the rich in their beautiful houses. Their houses were warm and full of gold. And he saw the poor in the small, dark streets. The poor were sitting at the doors of the rich in the cold. He looked into the dark places under the bridges. He saw two little boys lying close together, trying to keep warm. Their arms were around each other. "How hungry we are," said one boy. "You cannot lie here," a big man shouted at them. "Go away." So the boys stood up and they walked out into the rain. They had no home. The little swallow flew back. He told the happy prince what he saw. "Dear prince," said the swallow, "I am covered with fine gold. You must take it off sheet by sheet and give it to the poor. Give it to my people. The living need gold more than the dead." The little swallow was quiet. He was thinking. Then the little swallow took off, sheet by sheet, the fine gold from the happy prince. He carried each thin gold sheet to the poor. He gave gold to the two little boys under the bridge, and now their faces became pink. They laughed, and they ran to buy bread. Everywhere he went, the little swallow brought a gold sheet from the prince. The children began to smile. The poor began to eat, but the happy prince on his tall column became more and more gray. He was still standing tall, but without his gold, he was not shining. He was not beautiful anymore. He was just a gray, dull statue. And now the snow came. After the snow came the frost. Frost is when everything freezes. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. They were so bright and hard. Long, sharp pieces of ice hung from the roofs, like crystal knives. Everybody in the city walked wearing warm winter clothes. Little boys wore red hats and skated on the ice. The poor little swallow became more and more cold. But he did not leave the happy prince. He loved the prince too much. He picked up small pieces of bread from the doors of the bakery when the baker was not looking, and he moved his little wings to try to keep warm. But at last, the little swallow knew that he was going to die. He was very small, and the winter was very big. He tried to fly, but his wings were weak. He tried to sing, but his voice was quiet. He was tired all the way to his little bones. He had a little strength left, only enough for one more thing. He flew up, slowly, to the shoulder of the prince, one last time. It was hard, but he did it. "Goodbye, dear prince," he said. "Will you let me kiss your hand?" "I am glad that you are going at last to Egypt, little swallow," said the prince. His voice was soft. He did not know that his little friend was not going to Egypt. "You have stayed here too long, but you must kiss me on the lips, because I love you." "I am not going to Egypt," said the swallow quietly. "I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not?" The happy prince was silent. He understood, and a great pain came into his lead heart. But he did not say goodbye. He only bent down, and he waited. And the little swallow kissed the happy prince on his lips. It was a small, cold kiss from a small, brave friend. And then he fell down, dead, at the prince's feet. At that very moment, a strange sound came from inside the statue. It was as if something inside broke. It was the lead heart of the happy prince. It had broken in two, because his little friend was dead. Take a breath, my friend. That was a very sad moment. It is okay to feel sad. This story teaches us that love is not only happy things. Love is also hurting when a good friend is gone. It is a beautiful human feeling. Now let us practice, so this English becomes yours. Questions. Answer out loud. Question 1. What was the little swallow doing on the shoulder of the prince? He was telling stories. Stories of strange countries. The great red birds, the desert, the pink mountain, the little green snakes. Question 2. What did the happy prince ask the little swallow to do? He asked him to fly over the city, and to look, and to tell him what he saw. Question 3. What did the swallow see under the bridges? He saw two hungry little boys. They had no home. A big man told them to go away into the rain. Question 4. What did the little swallow start to do, sheet by sheet? He started to take off the gold from the happy prince and give it to the poor people of the city. Question 5. What happened to the beautiful gold prince? He became gray. He was not shining anymore. He was just a dull gray statue. Question 6. Why did the little swallow not fly to Egypt? Because he loved the happy prince. He wanted to stay with him. Question 7. What did the little swallow do before he died? He said goodbye to the prince. He kissed him on the lips. Then he fell down at his feet, dead. Question 8. What broke inside the statue? The lead heart of the happy prince broke in two, because he loved the little swallow, and now his little friend was gone. Now, some grammar from part 4. In this part, we heard many little words with special meanings. Words like if, because, but, and so. These are called connecting words. They connect two ideas together. Listen. He kissed him because he loved him. Because tells us the reason. Why did he kiss him? Because he loved him. He was tired, but he did not go. But shows a difference. He was tired, but he still did not go. He was cold, so he moved his wings. So shows a result. He was cold, so, as a result, he moved his wings. Say some easy sentences with these words. I am learning English because I want to speak. Say it. Now you. I am learning English because I want to speak. I am tired, but I am happy. Say it. I am tired, but I am happy. It is cold, so I wear a coat. Say it. It is cold, so I wear a coat. Beautiful. Small words, big power. Because. But. So. Use them and your English becomes fluent. And now a few more words from part 4. The first word is desert. A desert is a very hot, dry place with lots of sand and no water. The swallow told stories of the great desert. Say it. Desert. The next word is camel. A camel is a big, tall animal with a long neck. Camels live in the desert. Say it. Camel. The next word is frost. Frost is when it is so cold that a thin white cover of ice appears on everything. There was frost in the city. Say it. Frost. The next word is ice. Ice is water that is frozen because of the cold. Long ice hung from the roofs. Say it. Ice. The next word is bridge. A bridge is a road built over a river or over another road. The poor boys were sleeping under the bridge. Say it. Bridge. The next word is bakery. A bakery is a shop that sells bread. The swallow picked up bread from the door of the bakery. Say it. Bakery. The next word is broken. Broken means not whole. The prince's heart was broken in two. Say it. Broken. Say these together one. Final time. Desert, camel, frost, ice, bridge, bakery, broken. These are your words. Use them. And now, the last part of our beautiful story. This is where everything comes together. This is where we see what happens after the little swallow dies, and what happens to the happy prince, and what happens to the truth. It is a short part, but it is the most important part. because it tells us what really matters in the end. Are you ready? Then listen carefully. Part 5. The Two Precious Things. The next morning, very early, the important men of the city walked in the square below the column. They were the mayor, that is, the leader of the city, and his important helpers. They walked below the tall column, and they looked up. "Oh no," said the mayor. "How ugly the Happy Prince looks now." "How ugly," said the other important men, who always said the same thing as the mayor. They walked up to look more carefully. They walked around the column. They put their hands on their heads. They shook their heads. They made angry faces. "His ruby is gone," said the mayor. "His eyes are gone. He is not shining anymore. He is just gray. He is like a beggar. This is not good. This is not good for our city. What will visitors say? What will other kings think when they come to visit? They will laugh at us." "Yes, they will laugh," said his helpers. "Like a beggar," said the mayor again. "Yes, like a beggar," said his helpers. "And look," the mayor said, pointing his finger. "There is even a dead bird at his feet. Right at his feet. This is not clean. This is not respectful. We must make a rule. We must say, no bird is allowed to die here. It is a bad example." The city writer wrote it down. He wrote it down in his big book of city rules. He did not smile, and he did not cry. He just wrote. So the men decided to take down the statue of the Happy Prince. "He is not beautiful anymore," they said. "He is not useful anymore. He is finished. We will build a new statue of somebody more important. Of me, perhaps." That last part, the mayor said very quietly, only to himself. And then he smiled. They took the statue down. They melted it in a big fire. Melted means made it soft with heat, so the metal became liquid. The gold melted quickly. The lead body of the prince melted. The men were happy. They talked about what they would make with the melted metal. New statues, new coins, new things for the mayor's house. "What a strange thing," said the man at the fire. "This broken lead heart will not melt in the fire. It is broken, but it will not melt. We tried the strongest fire. Nothing. It is like a stone. It is like it does not want to change. We must throw it away." So they threw the lead heart on a pile of dust behind the factory, and on the same pile they saw a small dark shape. It was the body of the dead little swallow. Someone had put it there too. Nobody cared. Nobody knew that these two things, a broken heart and a small dead bird, were the greatest treasure the city had ever seen. Nobody knew what they had done. Nobody except one. "Bring me the two most precious things in this city," said God to one of his angels. God is the great one who made the whole world, and an angel is a beautiful helper of God who lives in the sky. The angel came down, quiet as light. He looked at the city. He looked at the palaces of gold. He looked at the crowns of kings, shining on their heads. He looked at the beautiful jewels of the rich ladies, sparkling in the sun. He looked at the great treasure rooms full of coins. He looked at the biggest, most famous statues in the great squares. He shook his head. "Not these, not these." Then the angel came to the pile of dust behind the factory. He came, and he stood there quietly for a long moment, and he smiled, and he took very carefully two things. He took the broken lead heart, and he took the small dead body of the little swallow. Two small things, two poor-looking things, nothing that a mayor would want, nothing that a king would keep. He brought them up, high, higher, higher still, all the way to God. "You have chosen well," said God. "In my garden of heaven, this little bird will sing forever, and in my golden city, the happy prince will love me forever." And that is the end of our beautiful story. Take a moment to breathe. What a story, my friend. Take a moment. That is a wonderful ending, no? A sad ending? A happy ending? Both. The prince and the swallow are together, forever. The important men of the city did not understand. But God, the Great One, saw the truth. He saw that the two most precious things in the city were not the gold or the jewels or the crowns of kings. The most precious things were a broken heart and a dead little bird, because they were full of love, because they gave everything. Now, my friend, let us do our grand review. Let us make sure this story lives inside you, in English. I will ask 10 quick questions from the whole story. Answer out loud. Question 1. What was the little swallow in love with in the summer? A beautiful yellow flower. Question 2. Why did the happy prince cry, even though he was called happy? Because from his tall column he could see all the sadness of his city. Question 3. Who received the first ruby? The poor sewing mother with the sick little boy. Question 4. Who received the first sapphire? The young poet in his cold room. He was writing a play, and he was fainting from hunger. Question 5. Who received the second sapphire? The little match girl in the square. She had no shoes. Her father was going to hit her. Question 6. What did the happy prince give away, sheet by sheet at the end? All. His fine gold. He gave it to the poor people of the city. Question 7. Why did the little swallow not fly to Egypt? Because he loved the happy prince. He stayed with him. Question 8. What happened to the little swallow? He died. It was too cold. He said goodbye, and he kissed the prince, and he fell down at his feet. Question 9. What happened to the lead heart of the happy prince? It broke in two, because his little friend was dead. Question 10. What are the two most precious things in the city, according to God? The broken lead heart of the happy prince and the small dead body of the little swallow. Excellent. You know the story now. You know it in English. And now, for the very last exercise before your final message, let us listen to the whole story one more time, but very short and quick. This is a beautiful, powerful exercise. When you already know a story and you hear it again, quickly, in easy English, your brain does something magical. It understands almost every word without any effort. Just listen and enjoy how much English you now understand. In a great city, on top of a tall column, there was a beautiful statue. He was called the Happy Prince. He was covered with gold, and he had 2 blue sapphires for eyes and a big red ruby on his sword. But when he was alive, he lived behind a high wall in the palace of no sadness. He never saw the poor people of his city. Now, from his tall column, he could see everything. And every night he cried. One autumn night, a little swallow came to the city. He was late. All his friends were already in Egypt. He slept between the feet of the happy prince, and a tear fell on him. When he looked up, he saw the sad, kind face of the prince. The prince asked for his help. In a poor house, there was a mother sewing a silk dress, and her little son was sick and thirsty. So the swallow took the big red ruby, and he flew across the city, and he gave the ruby to the mother. He moved his wings, and the sick boy became cool and smiled in his sleep. The next night, the prince asked again. A young poet was in a cold room, hungry and tired, writing a beautiful play. The swallow took one of the prince's blue eyes, and he gave it to the poet. The poet cried with joy. The night after, the prince asked once more. A little match girl was crying in the square. Her feet were bare in the snow. Her father would hit her. The swallow took the second blue eye, and he gave it to her. She thought it was a beautiful piece of glass, and she ran home laughing. Now the prince was blind. But he asked the swallow to fly over the city and to bring back stories. The swallow saw many poor people, hungry children, cold beggars. tired workers. So sheet by sheet, the little swallow took the fine gold off the happy prince, and he gave it to the poor. The prince became gray and dull, but the poor became a little happier. Then the cold winter came, snow and frost and long ice. The little swallow was too cold. He knew he was going to die. He kissed the prince on the lips, and he fell down at his feet dead, and the lead heart of the prince broke in two. The next morning, the important men of the city looked up and said, "How ugly he is now." They took him down. They melted him in the fire, but the broken lead heart would not melt. So they threw the heart and the little dead bird on a pile of dust. Then God asked his angel to bring him the two most precious things in the city, and the angel brought the broken heart of the happy prince and the small dead body of the little swallow. And God said, "You have chosen well. In my heaven, this bird will sing forever, and this prince will love me forever." Beautiful, no? How much did you understand this time? A lot, I am sure, because you know the story now. It is inside you, in English. Let me finish with a few final beautiful phrases from the story. Say them with me, one by one. These are phrases you can use in your English, and they are lovely. Little by little. This means slowly, step by step. The swallow gave the gold, little by little. Say it. Little by little. More than anything in the world. This means very, very much. She loves her son more than anything in the world. Say it. More than anything in the world. To give away. This means to give something to another person and not take money for it. He gave away his gold. Say it. To give away. To make somebody happy. This means to be the reason for their happiness. Small acts of love make people happy. Say it. To make somebody happy. Full of tears. This is a beautiful phrase. When somebody's eyes have many tears, we say their eyes are full of tears. The prince's eyes were full of tears. Say it. Full of tears. To be in love with. This means to have a strong, warm feeling for someone or something. The swallow was in love with a yellow flower. Say it. To be in love with. To fall down. This is a phrase verb, two words together. It means to drop to the ground from a higher place. The little swallow fell down at the prince's feet. Say it. To fall down. Say each one more time, little by little. More than anything in the world. To give away. To make somebody happy. Full of tears. To be in love with. To fall down. Now, before your final message, one last speaking exercise. Listen and repeat. I will say 10 beautiful sentences from our story at a natural, slow speed. You say each one after me with your full voice. These are the sentences of the story, and if they live in your mouth, the story will always live in you. I am the happy prince. Say it. I am the happy prince. My heart is made of lead. Your turn. My heart is made of lead. Little swallow, little bird. Say it warmly. Little swallow, little bird. Will you not stay with me for one night? Your turn. Will you not stay with me for one night? I want to help the poor. Say it. I want to help the poor. Take the ruby from my sword. Your turn. Take the ruby from my sword. The mother was tired, but she was sewing. Say it. The mother was tired, but she was sewing. The little boy smiled in his sleep. Your turn. The little boy smiled in his sleep. You must kiss me on the lips, because I love you. Say it softly. You must kiss me on the lips, because I love you. Real beauty is a kind heart. Say it and mean it. Real beauty is a kind heart. Beautiful. 10 sentences from a beautiful story, spoken by your own voice. Now they are yours forever. And now, my friend, let us end with a small message. Today you did something wonderful. You did not just watch a video. You lived inside a beautiful story in English. You met the happy prince, and the little swallow, and the poor mother, and the young poet, and the little match girl. You listened. You answered questions. You learned new words. You learned grammar. You spoke out loud with me. But I hope you also took something else from this story. Because Oscar Wilde's story is a small message to the world. Let me tell you the 4 beautiful lessons that live inside it. Lesson 1. Real beauty is not gold. Real beauty is not jewels. Real beauty is a kind heart. The happy prince was covered with gold, and everyone said he was beautiful. But at the end, when all his gold was gone, when he was gray and simple, he was more beautiful than ever before. Because true beauty is inside. It shines out from a kind heart, and gold cannot copy it. Lesson 2. When we cannot see the pain of others, we cannot really live. The happy prince behind his high wall was not really happy. He was only comfortable. He was only entertained. Real happiness begins when we look, when we truly see the world around us, both the good and the sad. The prince said his greatest sadness was that he had never looked before. So look, my friend. When you walk in the street, look at people. Look at their faces. A small look, a small smile can be a small gift. Lesson 3. Give what you have. The prince did not have much money. He was a statue on a column. He could not walk. He could not talk to most people. But he had gold. He had jewels. He had eyes, and he gave what he had. He did not wait. He did not save. He gave. And each time he gave, he became more beautiful, not to the men of the city, but to God and to himself. In your own life, you have something to give. Maybe your time, maybe your smile, maybe your ears when a friend is sad, maybe your English when a stranger needs help. Give what you have. Lesson 4. Real love is choosing. The little swallow could have flown to Egypt. His friends were there. The sun was warm. He would have lived a long, happy swallow life, but he chose to stay with the prince in the cold. He chose love over comfort, and that is what love really is, a choice. Not always an easy choice, not always a warm choice, but every time you choose love for your family, for a friend, for a stranger, for a dream, you are being like the little swallow, and even a small brave choice can make you great. The happy prince gave everything, and he became gray and ugly to the men of the city, but to God, he was the most beautiful thing in the world. The little swallow was small and simple, but his heart was as big as the sky. And you, my friend, learning English, one word at a time, you are like the little swallow. You are working, quietly, day after day. Maybe some people do not understand why, but it is your dream and it is beautiful. Keep going, keep flying, little by little, day by day, word by word. That is how a dream comes true. It is not fast, but it is sure. Now please tell me in the comments, which part of the story touched your heart the most? Was it the young poet in his cold room? Was it the little match girl? Was it the moment when the happy prince became gray? Was it the last kiss of the little swallow? Write your answer in English. It can be one sentence, it can be short, but it is your English, and I would love to read every word. And here is a small homework for you, if you accept it. This week, come back and listen to this video one more time. Not to study, just to listen. Maybe on a quiet Sunday morning with a cup of tea. Second listenings are magical. The second time you hear a story, your brain relaxes and your English opens like a flower. Words that were difficult become clear. Sentences that were fast become slow. That is real progress, and it is free. Just press play again, and let the story do its work. And when you go out into your day tomorrow, look around you a little more than usual. Look at the tired mother in the shop. Look at the young man at the bus stop. Look at the old woman crossing the street. Try to see them, the way the happy prince saw his people, once he was allowed to see. You do not need to give a ruby, a smile, a kind word, holding a door. These are small rubies, and you have many of them every day to give. If this story helped you today, please give this video a like. It truly helps this small channel grow. And subscribe to Bookish English and turn on the bell, because every week we learn English together through stories that are beautiful and easy and made for you. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. 2 hours is a long time, and you gave me your ears, your voice, and your heart. Learners who finish long videos learn deeply. Learners who finish long stories remember forever. So this story and this English are now yours, really yours, in a way that only you and time can measure. Remember, learn English slowly. Learn English every day. Learn English one story at a time. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you. Be a little like the happy prince and a little like the little swallow. Give what you have. Choose love and keep flying. I will see you very soon in the next story. Goodbye, my friend.